Instagram one. Why am I not seeing it on Instagram?
Yesterday, David told me that they have a ceremony.
Ich habe das gehört, Dominic.
But it was English, right? Du musst jetzt wirklich wieder nach Deutschland kommen, damit dein...
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Let's start
Du
in.
könntest Gregs Vortrag übersetzen.
Greg is how do you say never?
Niemals oder
Yeah,
nie.
yeah. Greg ist niemals besetzt.
Ja.
I'm making fun of you, Greg, in German.
I assumed.
Are we're live?
Yeah, I was waiting for somebody to join the call, but I don't think. Well, I don't know. Let's just start. Because we're recording it anyways for ourselves, which is arguably more important. Yes, so thank you everyone for joining. My name is Greg Gerla. I am a co-founder and CEO of Stride Souls, and today I'm joined by my esteemed colleagues, Dr. Zach Carden and Dominic Walter. I'll let you guys introduce yourselves.
Yeah, hi, my name's Dr. Zach Carton. I'm the Chief Medical Officer of Stride Souls and Greg's co-founder. And Dominic, go ahead.
My name is Dominic. I'm the head of design at Stride Souls.
So today's kind of an exciting day, and that it's around 2.5 years, sorry, since we even started this company, Greg. And I think our story's pretty cool. Maybe we can just start by sharing our story.
Yeah. That's always a fun topic for me. I'll just start from my beginning and then weave you in.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So I've had flat feet for my whole life. Just something that I've dealt with. I remember as a kid trying to walk even for like an hour without insoles orthotics in my shoes, and my feet would immediately just like become very tense in the back. My like Achilles area would become inflamed, and it would just become very hard to walk without orthotics. So through my grandmother's advice, I did buy a pair. Actually, my grandma was a physical therapist, so she was very used to orthotics, and it's a little bit hereditary in my family in that my mom also have. Oh, wait, sorry. There's a change in one of your audio devices. Sorry, I said it stopped recording and it just restarted.
It counts still.
I have no idea. I think it just restarted. They said there was a change in one of your audio devices. Okay, whatever.
All right.
We're gonna keep going. We're just gonna restart. If that's okay.
Yeah,
Zach,
that's
you
fine.
actually, Dominic can like cut around this, and nobody's on the call yet.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I bought a pair of orthotics per my grandmother's advice, and it helped. I've had orthotics in my shoes for the last 20 years, maybe. So it's integral part of my my existence, really. And the story of starting Stride Souls goes back to my time during my MBA program at Northwestern Kellogg. And I was planning to go abroad to INSEAD, a business school in France, and I wanted a new pair of orthotics. I'd be walking a lot in Europe. So I go to a podiatrist there to buy another pair of orthotics. And I guess this was like kind of a wake up experience for me where driving from Evanston to downtown Chicago took an hour, already like frustrating. Finding parking sucked. I had to go back and forth a few times to the podiatry office to get my feet molded, which is pretty slow and arduous process of putting your foot in a plaster mold and then waiting for it to harden. Not exactly a pleasant experience, but alas, I got the orthotics. Not the best orthotics. Do I have them here? Yeah, actually, I have one of them here. So you can see it's quite rudimentary in its design. They just kind of Frankenstein a bunch of pieces together, and overall it was not what I was looking for. Did not help my pain, so I asked for another pair for a redo. And the funny thing is, it already took 6 weeks to arrive, and then the redo pair took another 6+ weeks to where I was already abroad in Europe by the time they arrived. So I just had a pair of I don't know, like super feet or something like that, and I was just frustrated the whole trip. And my feet hurt. It kind of made it difficult to walk around. So that was just percolating in my head, and I just happened to be in a class, one of those Shark Tank type classes where you just come up with a business, and then the rest of the class grades and critiques your business. And I at the time also had Smile Direct Club, so I was getting my teeth fixed. Not totally dissimilar to Stride Soles, where you have to scan your mouth to give them updates as to how your teeth are doing, how they're moving. So I knew that the iPhone, with its true depth camera, could be used as a medical device. And I thought, what if we just translate that to the feet and have a scan of the foot instead of doing that plaster mold that I was used to? Doing some research, I realized, yes, this is possible. People are actually doing it in office, and there's an opportunity for us to just bring it remote so that people could do it at home. And at this point, I was like running with this idea, and I actually posted in the school's Telegram channel where Zach messaged back saying that posted in the Telegram channel saying, I'm starting this company. Is anybody interested in joining? And Zach and a few others responded. Zach had experience with using the phone for medical devices, for medical purposes as well. And I'll let Zach kind of take it from there and see his side of the story.
Yeah, it's bringing back good memories. I graduated medical school in 2022, and instead of going the clinical route, I got very interested in business. And I worked at a startup in Boston that made an ultrasound machine for women to do their own baby ultrasound scanning at home using a smartphone. And one, I saw how happy the mothers were to do that type of scanning. It was just very powerful for them to be able to get that control. And also, it just made sense. It saved those, annoying appointments. I'd never gone to a doctor's office that had easy parking, that had easy commuting. And it saved them a lot of money. So it was just kind of a no-brainer. And I had kind of stored that in the back of my mind, looking for other opportunities to take advantage of smartphones, remote health, to make getting access to healthcare easier. And when I started INSEAD, I was kind of my antennas were up, waiting to see where a good idea might come. And it was kind of like it's very serendipitous that you put this in the Telegram channel. And I remember working on the idea with you and then two other classmates. Funnily enough, Greg, I don't know if you're aware of this, but one of those other classmates is like the daughter of a billionaire tycoon in India. So we missed out on that opportunity. Did you
Let's
know
hear
that?
back up.
Yeah. But we worked on the idea. We pitched it to a venture competition, and not only did we not win, we didn't even they didn't even consider our idea. They said go back to the drawing board.
That's right.
but the idea was so good, and you had this sort of drive about you that I was very impressed by. And you started compiling lists and lists and lists of podiatrists and orthopedic manufacturers to, or rather orthotic manufacturers to work with and to expand our idea. And Dominic, this is where you came involved. Maybe you could kind of share what was going on in your business and then what happened after we connected.
Yeah, so you guys came just in the right time, to be frank. Is like we have our own orthopedic local clinic in Germany, so we have like patient contacts for years and years. And besides that, we had this service of insole designing. But the market, like the podiatrists, they all want to do it themselves, right? They all want to be the master of it, and they have like sometimes pretty weird expectations of how an insole should be, and a millimeter here, a millimeter there, but they don't really have a exact measurements for this to determine this. So they try to bring an accuracy into the product that they're not able to scan. And we have these like, yeah, million of foot data already and experience in insole manufacturing, and we always wanted to establish a standard for insole designing because we have the experience, right? And nobody really trusted in that because, as I said, they all wanted to do it themselves. And then you came up with this amazing scanning technology, and I thought, well, it's a perfect time now because we established our design service in a way that it was really we could deal with high volumes. And you came up with this idea with this amazing scans, and I thought, well, that's the perfect time to collaborate with you. And you wouldn't believe how many people come with big plans, right? Talking about big numbers, and usually, well, it's not nearly as good as it sounds in the beginning. And you started, and you had just this drive, as you said, Zach. Like Greg had this drive, and you with your background, Zach, of scanning, I was just convinced. And now, you prove that it's really good. I mean, we have thousands of patients already, or customers already that love the strides, and amazing.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'm looking at our kind of our business data from the past month, September. We're recording this on October 2nd. It was our best month ever, I think, by a pretty good margin, Greg.
Yeah, I would say up about 53%. I've actually been running the numbers pretty tightly. Yeah, so we've grown like 20% each month since we've started. I think on average it's like 25%. So we're definitely getting traction, which is nice.
I'm having trouble seeing. Do you know how many total orders we got last month?
I don't.
Yeah, it's tricky. It doesn't like say it super. Oh yeah, it does. So we had 375 customers last month. That's different than different than orders because a lot of them ordered more than one pair.
Yeah, we actually have about 600 or actually pairs made last month, just because the average person orders two plus pairs. But anyways, so I think that's a good sign that the market is enjoying our product. I
mean, I just reflecting a little bit, there was a time where we would be like really excited to get one order a week, and we would talk. Then it was like, could we get 10 orders a week? And now it's around 10 a day, and I'm sure, and pretty soon it's going to be 10 an hour. So we're starting to think about scaling, and there's a lot of really incredible things that our technology allows for. And that's kind of why we've dedicated so much time in these early stages to thinking about process. What kind of design considerations do we need to make if we're going to be helping so many different people? But the fact that Dominic and his team, maybe this is something else we're talking about, can do a design in Germany in their podiatry clinic with all the expertise of 1 million+ pairs made, yet send that design file to a 3D printer in Australia, China, California, New Jersey, Boston, and then enable us to 3D print it in a standard way across all those different places is really a game changer. And yeah, I think, Greg, maybe that's something worth talking about so people can understand that even as we grow, every customer is still getting that same design expertise that it would be if you went to just, your local podiatrist, with that level of care and concern.
Yeah, I mean, this has always been my number one goal, is to exceed the experience that you would get at a podiatry office. That's the reason that I started it. Was like, I think I started this business was I think that we can do it better than what I got myself when I went to that clinic in Chicago. And part of that is, I guess there's how do we do that? One is definitely Dominic. Like, I spent a long time trying to figure out who the best podiatry, I guess podorthist clinic, as you guys say in Germany, like who's the best designer of orthotics. And just talking to Dominic on the first call, I could tell he was extremely knowledgeable about the industry. I thought the Walter story was fantastic, and actually, I'm realizing that, Dominic, after I finish this, I'd like for you to kind of talk about your family's history, because it's quite remarkable in how they're a third generation orthotics manufacturer legacy, really, in Germany. So I was very impressed overall with Dominic and his family and their legacy of making orthotics. So they just had to be our partners. But I also liked how Dominic was very technology focused, and that aligned very much with like me and Zach's vision. So we spent close to a year developing the first iteration of the iPhone app, and we always try to push the limits of technology. We feel strongly that technology can enable a lot of health benefits and a lot of health breakthroughs. Really, we think of the phone as the most advanced medical device that everybody has in their pocket. So it's only fair that we use it for orthotics. And yeah, that's some of the reasons that we think that we have a legitimate reason to believe that we are the best orthotics manufacturers, or orthotics just place to get on the internet, if not the world more generally. And Dominic, do you want to just talk a little bit about your family history with orthotics? And yeah, it's a good story.
Yeah, of course. So my father's dad, my grandfather, obviously, he was a traditional shoemaker. So he was always already working on shoes and feet and got a lot of knowledge there, but it was a pure craftsmanship back in the days. And my father wanted to step in his father's footsteps, but you saw a decline on these traditional shoemakers. The business was not the same. Like, there's the, as we call now, the fast fashion. Back in the days, even, you threw away a pair of shoe rather than repairing it. So but he wanted to step in those footsteps. And then there was the orthopedic shoe technician, or the podorthist, who manufactures custom shoes for severe deformities. And we have a big history in Germany because of like the past. Let's say there's been some war injuries, right, that we had to treat. So there were quite a few deformities that we had to deal. So we come from the most severe cases of foot deformities, and all the orthotics that we made were only grinded by hand. So you had a block of cork and you would grind out manually by hand an insole. So the reproductivity was pretty low. and the output was as well. And then my father was actually the first person in the world to mill insoles cat-based in 1989. So he
Wow.
was always technology driven, technology focused, and milling was state of the art until like 5 years ago. It was our cash cow. It was our biggest thing. Like, we provided this technology in more than 60 countries for over 1,000 business partners. And yeah, and then the 3D printing came up, and we just saw a huge opportunity, and we shifted completely, because we're not a huge company, right? We're like a family business, and we can't play on all fields, so we have to focus. You know, it was a gamble to focus on 3D printing, but we established it at first in our own orthopedic store. We supplied to professional soccer players. Michael Schumacher, not 3D printed, but insoles. I think everyone will know him. And so we gained a lot
Did
of
you
experience.
also make it for Manuel Neuer?
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
Manuel Neuer, Mesut Özil.
Yeah.
I'm not too. I'm not a soccer player or fan, so I don't know a lot of those. But we're
You're the German in the
today.
company, man.
He's
Sorry?
a handball player.
Yeah.
I'm a handball player, but you don't know that in the US, right?
I played a little bit of handball in summer camp, but
Right.
I
No,
always
different
thought,
than your handball, Zach.
really, with the bouncing where you throw it into the goal.
Oh, okay. You know that
Yeah.
is. Never mind. I play different handball.
Okay.
Sorry. Go ahead,
No,
Tom.
we interrupted Dominic. Sorry, man.
Yeah, I don't want to have a monologue here. I mean, yeah, to cut this, like, we had a lot of experience, and we tried 3D printing with our customers first, and that's a principle up until today. So it's all proven technology, all proven designs that we supply up until today in our own orthopedic store on a daily basis to our own patients. And that's why we're like, yeah, feel pretty confident that we can do it globally. And yeah, you're reaching global customers already. Today I shipped because you sent files to us for designing, and then I saw it's a German. You told me it's a German address, so we are selling in Germany as well now. Oh man, crazy.
Yeah. We're not really focusing our advertising yet globally. It's mostly focused in the US, but somehow people are still finding out about us, which is really cool.
Yeah.
No, thank you for sharing that story. And I think it's pretty incredible, some of the athletes that you've worked with and treated. And it's a big testament to the product, if like the world-class athletes are trusting it. And I think that's one of the next steps that Greg and I are focusing on for Stride. Let's get some world-class athletes on our insoles, the Stride way, without having to come into clinic, but still having that hands-on experience. And in fact, we just started working with professional MLS players, so maybe not as big a deal as the Bundesliga in Germany. However, I think there's a lot of great players in the MLS. Messi's there, so it's definitely a vote of confidence that an MLS player is starting to wear our insoles, and from what I understand, really loves them.
Not
Is
just
Vancouver
MLS
also in the
player.
MLS?
Sorry, say that. I cut you off.
Sorry. Yeah, I just was wondering, is Vancouver also in the MLS, even though it's Canada?
Yes, the MLS is Canada and US.
Because they just bought one of our biggest stars, Thomas Müller. So
Oh, really?
you get all the good players when
Oh,
they.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, when they're semi-retired.
Yeah. After they've proven themselves in the European leagues, then we get them. But yeah, not just an MLS player. You're right, Greg. He plays on the US national team.
That's right. That's right. And he's German. I want to switch gears in our last few minutes. This is a topic that we get a lot of questions about, and that's regarding shoes. And I just bought a pair of running shoes, and I'd like to ask. Let's start with Dominic. What type of shoes do you recommend for somebody that has, say, flat feet pain like myself? What do you look for in a shoe?
The best would be to have a combination with insoles and neutral shoe, meaning like since you're holding up a shoe brand, I can show mine. Neutral shoe meaning there's no stability, no I don't know what is there, plastic or stiffenings on the medial part, because some of those shoes have the, I don't know the English word, pronation support, so not to pronate so much. But if you have flat feet, it's better to have the insoles to get a muscle stimulating effect, and then a neutral shoe so we can build up from zero, right, with the orthotics. And then, of course, what's very important for flat feet is that this part here is wide, okay? Because there are also different types of shoes. I mean, look at mine that I wear here, where this part is slim. You see this? Like a woman's waist, or as you call.
Hourglass.
Hourglass, yeah. So we want to have it wide here, right? And another thing for flat feet, why are they flat? Like pronating a lot, the medial arch sets. That's very often because the big toe gets cut off its function. The function is usually the foot looks like this at natural folk. So big toe is pointing inwards to give stability. And the shoes we wear, they're usually slim in the forefoot, right? And for flat feet, that's why it's good to have a wide toe box as well. So the big toe can come medialized again and then stabilize the whole foot. So that's what I would focus on.
Awesome. And what are things to avoid when it comes to running shoes? I think when I last came to Germany, we talked a lot about the heel lift being an issue. Can you talk a little bit about like what type of like the forefoot versus the heel in terms of like how much cushion one should have in the shoe?
Well, that depends on the surface you're running on. So obviously, if we walk or run on artificial grounds like concrete, it's okay to have some cushion. The thing is, it can't be too soft, because if we cushion away everything, every load, our structures will degenerate. So all the muscle, bone, tendons, they build up during load. If we take off the load, like all the structures, will get weaker. So not too high of a cushion. Usually the most of the running shoes, they're nowadays pretty good in terms of that. But what I would recommend is a zero drop. So that means the forefoot and the heel should be on the same level. Most of the shoes, and that's started in the 1600s when we designed shoes back in the days, they have a heel pitch. So the heel is actually higher than the forefoot, and there's absolutely no reason for that. It shortens your Achilles tendon, so it leads to Achilles problems, and it's just not natural. So a level shoe, forefoot and heel on the same height is great. And like, I mean, I can say it, I don't get any referrals for it, but we like the Ultra shoes because they just represent everything we need in terms of running shoes. Awesome.
And any shoes that you have seen that you do not recommend? Like, what about Hoka shoes, for example? I don't know if you have them in Germany.
Yeah, sure. They're on the rise, and they have a similar principle in some points. So what I like about the Hoka is that they also have a wide, what do you call it, heel? Yeah. And usually, yeah. And usually it's like a cup. The sole surrounds the heel, which is good. But what they all have is, even though they're coming pretty wide, but towards the toes, they go pointy again, right? So, and they all have a heel pitch. So, I mean, they're not bad running shoes, but they're better, right? And speaking about the ones I don't recommend, can we do that? I mean, in Germany, I get sued if I say this shoe is bad.
Of course you can say it.
Really? So don't buy on shoes, man.
Don't buy on shoes. Zach, I am guilty of having on shoes.
That's funny because On was founded by my not classmates but fellow INSEAD alumni. It's an INSEAD company. So
Well, okay.
oh,
Okay.
I'm not offended. I'm not offended. I think if you can share a little bit about what is
Why? Yeah,
why
let me
you're
let me give.
concerned.
Okay, I don't want to just blame. Look, the principle of on shoes was it was a cut garden hose, right? That they put under the shoe. So that was the beginning, and it was quite good. And for athletes, like for high performance athletes, I think that might work because they have a lot of muscle, they have a lot of strength. For them, it might work because the instability the shoe itself has, they can compensate with their muscles. But for you and I, like we're not high performance athletes, so it's actually not good because the shoe just is not stable enough. And well, that's the theory, right? But speaking from practice, there's if a customer comes in and they have knee pain, they wear one of three shoes. It's either an on shoe, or it's Crocs, or it's the soft Skechers. All those
Very
people have
interesting.
just providing another shoe solves a lot of issues already because they're just too soft. They feel good. That's the initial feeling. Oh, my Crocs, they're so comfortable. Yeah, they destroy you and they destroy your knees.
Why exactly do they? I'm curious on this. Why do they destroy your knees? Like a Croc, for example.
You're just walking on super soft surfaces, super soft shoes, right? So the foot muscles, they don't have anything to do anymore. It's just everything. They don't get any information from the ground you're walking on because they cushion everything. And then there's the upward spiral. There's just no information coming to your brain about the surface you're walking on, and the foot gets lazy, and then you're pronating a lot. And if the ankles are misaligned, so right, if you're pronating a lot, then obviously your tibia and fibula, they also are misaligned, and that's what's above that is the knee. So the first joint to be harmed by weak feet is the knees.
Awesome. I guess we're coming up on time. Zach, anything you want to add? No worries if not.
Well, that's very interesting that those three shoes or companies in particular stand out. That's also what I see in my experience as well. So it's interesting that it's consistent. Maybe it's worth coming up with some kind of test or maybe doing some kind of study, Greg, because I think this is useful information that people would like to know. Um, I guess the the one other thing I was just going to briefly explain if people don't know what pronation and supination is, because I see people confused about that a lot. So if these are your feet, these are the inside of your feet. And pronation is when you kind of roll your ankles in. So you can imagine if your arch is collapsed, it's easier for the foot to pronate. Supination is the opposite, where you roll out and you kind of walk on the outside of your feet. And there's a super easy test to see if you pronate or supinate, and that is to look at your shoe and see if it's really worn down on the inside or outside portion. We're meant to walk physiologically, kind of from pressure going to the big toe and then diagonally out towards the outside of the heel. I think I got that right, Dominic. Um, so your shoe wear should be fairly even across the shoe because your foot should be putting pressure kind of diagonally around the foot, keeping that planar surface. So yeah, simple test. Look at your shoe. If the inside is worn, you pronate. If the outside is worn, you supinate.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Zach. And thank you to both of you guys, Dominic and Zach. This has been a really informative session, and I think we have a lot to learn. So if anybody has any questions, I know I have some follow-up questions about shoes, Dominic. Definitely reach out to us at team@stridesoles.com, and
That's great.
one of us three here will get back to you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
All right. Thank you.